why would we wait until people are adults to start creating this conversation? Well, could we do this with kids? I'm like, this would be so easy to do with kids.
Hey, I'm Kathleen Rumford from Katalytic Empowerment, where we delve into topics for parents and homeschoolers. And in this 6-part Katalytic Empowerment series, we'll be learning from our guest, Donnie Fitzpatrick, who you just briefly heard. In today's part 2, Donnie shares how he clarifies the typical definitions of strength and weakness with his students so that they can start identifying what their true strengths are, helping them see things differently and themselves more accurately. And for those listening, this may be truly eye-opening. Let's hear what Donnie has to say.
I do this with kids. This is how I've started out with kids all the time. So you guys, if you were to define what a strength is, what's a strength? So I let the kids talk back and forth. And then I'll say, okay, what's your answers? And so they start sharing. And it doesn't take very long. And the answer they come to always is strength is something that you're good at. And I'm like, okay. Excellent. Okay, so now if strength's something that you're good at, then what's a weakness? And then in short order, they say, well, a weakness is something that you're weak at. You're not very good at. I say, okay, so let's presume that this definition is wrong. Are you guys like okay with if we just kind of say that maybe this is wrong? We just kind of open our minds a little bit to maybe it being something a little bit different? And they're always like, yeah, okay. And so we go into it and I say, okay, so here's the problem with when we look at strength in that manner. What if you're really good at something, but you hate it? So as a teacher, we're always like, I work in careers. I help kids figure out what their careers are going to be, what their next step is going to be. And they say, well, no, I don't want to do something that I hate. It's like, okay. So when you look at this definition of a strength, is that really a strength then? Johnny's good in soccer. So does that mean he should become a soccer player? Well, we don't really know. Okay, well, does Johnny actually like playing soccer? And we actually had a boy in our last class who actually had that exact example. And he was like, actually, I hate it. I do it because I think my parents love me as a result of me doing so well in it. This is where I get my identity. So then what I do is we take them into a new definition of a strength. Any activity that leaves me feeling strong, even if I'm not great at it. Now, this is a bit of a lot of people kind of get stuck. It's like, well, but it has to be that you have to be good at it. But the thing is, and Marcus talks about this, and this is all coming from Marcus's work, but I just, like I said, I've adapted it to students. And he says, it's interesting because we always say practice makes perfect. But the reality is we don't practice everything equally, do we? We practice the things that we love. So when you look at that new definition of a strength as any activity that leaves me feeling strong, the key piece in it is how you feel about it. So when you look at that feeling aspect in a strength, it changes things now because now you can go, okay, so what are the things that I actually love to do? What are the things that make me pop up in the morning and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And here's a key piece. So I'm gonna jump off a little bit and then I'm gonna go back to, actually, no, we'll go to the weakness part first. So that's the strength. Any activity that leaves me feeling strong, even if I'm not totally great at it yet, okay? For a weakness, it's like this. Any activity that leaves me feeling weak, even if I'm great at it. Because why would you want to put your attention towards something that is going to absolutely drain you? I interview kids over and over and over. And what and they are not feeling at all like I don't know if I want to go do that. I'm good at it. And when I interview them and I say, well, okay, so what makes you good at it? Like you're obviously killing it. You're getting like unreal grades. And they're having meltdowns because they're going, actually, I'm only getting good grades because I've tied this into like, this is what I have to do. This isn't, And then you start seeing that concept of self-identity start to actually shift, because now they don't know the difference between what it is that they want and what it is that they're being told that they should want. And it's a really, really slippery slope that people don't necessarily realize is happening, because us as adults, whether we're a parent or whether we're a teacher, we're doing it with the best of intentions. We're doing it with love. We want the best for them. We have experience after all. It's like, we know what this is like. So hold on, no. You want to do this. You want to go in this direction. And they don't know how to say, this isn't all kids, but there's a really good chunk of them. I don't know how to say that I actually don't want to do that, because a lot of my self-validation, my love, my connectedness comes from pleasing my parents, the way that I've established myself within my peer group. What happens if all of a sudden I stop doing these things? And they're terrified. Like, I'm not trying to be like a freak you out kind of person, but I have interviewed hordes and hordes of kids. This isn't something that's like, I'll have 8 out of 10 kids leave my office sobbing. And it's not because we're doing something like really crazy with when we're having our interviews. Kids know how to answer 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 questions, they're really good at being like, yeah. Oh, they can fart around in that area. But when you ask the 4th, 5th, and 6th question that goes a little bit deeper, now all of a sudden they're like, shh, they're holding on to the, like, and then it's like, okay. And then it all starts coming out. And what's so beautiful about when you look at strengths in this way is it provides an open opportunity for kids to start discovering their own voice. And I have tons of stories about kids that have, oh my goodness, like it would bring you guys to tears. So a real big distinction then is when we look at those definitions of the old definition of a strength and weakness and a new definition of a strength and weakness, it's empowering. They get to be the expert. We then need to shift into the role of being more of a facilitator, drawing the information out of them, as opposed to, like, if I say, Johnny, you love knitting, and Johnny goes, no, I don't like knitting. But it's like, but look at all the beautiful sweaters that you knit. And he's like, yeah, but I don't. Only he knows that. Like, it's not even a conversation. It's like, and what we try to do so often as adults is this is what you should do. This is what you should do. So what we're good at is we can judge talent. We might be like, on an outsider, Kathleen, if you're great at decorating your house, I can sit there on the outside and I can look at it and go, yeah, you know what? You have a knack for this. Like, in my opinion, you're very talented in this area. What I can't tell you is, do you love decorating? That is the smallest shift, but it's so critical, because even when we think we're doing that for the kids that we're trying to raise or influence, very rarely do we check in with the right kinds of questions to go, is this actually, are we in alignment here? Like, am I understanding you and seeing you properly? Because that's what the things kids say is like, I'm not being seen and I'm not being heard. And when you talk to adults, whenever they're going through an issue with relationships and whatnot, it's usually because they feel like they're not being seen and being heard. So that right there is kind of like, that's a real snapshot thing of just the 2 definitions. And then a little bit about how talent comes in there, because we can judge somebody's talent, but we can't judge their strength. Now, as a child develops and starts gaining more clarity and starts learning language around this, what you very well may find is that the thing that they are very good at is also something that they really love. But the assumption on our part can't be, just because you're good in this is what you should do. Now, children at school will come to us career counselors, and I'll sit there and I can look at their report card and go, oh, wow. And if I start with their report card, Biggest mistake. I don't even look at the report card. Like, I don't even look at it. Other people, most of our career counselors will look at that and they go, oh, this is what you should do. Like, definitely, this is the way you should go. But the reality is like, I'm not interested in that. It's just like IEPs and all these things that like we're labeling kids and jamming them into a certain spot. It's like, I don't even look at that. Like right now, you're Susie, you're coming to me and you're sitting down. It's like, I'm here. You're a human. I'm seeing you as a human first, a student second.
To get the most out of this discussion, please join us for part 3, where Donnie shares the 4 signs to determine a true strength and how you can use those to help your kids identify what their true strengths are so they can start living into them with no shame. You can do this for yourself as well. And as always, please like this video and subscribe to our channel and check out relevant links in the description. Till next time, take care and God bless.